Grace and peace, everybody. This is going to be a really quick one, but I just want to give you some information. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to check it out and investigate it a little bit more. And it's the problem at the border. And I think this is going to be the biggest issue for Kamala Harris in her presidency, or run rather, for president, is dealing with the fact that she's done nothing for the border. Let's go ahead real quick and look at the video, and let me see what you think about it.
Joining me now is filmmaker and journalist Ami Horowitz. Ami, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with Joe Biden. Of course, he's out, no surprises. But now Democrat elites will pick his replacement, likely Kamala Harris, to lead the party to the next election. I mean, this is not how Democratic elections are supposed to be. What's your take on how the party has gone about this?
Yeah, look, it's the Democratic rules. They make the choices on how to do this. I think their bigger problem is that they're in a box, right? They don't have a choice on who they can select to replace Joe Biden. That's the problem. The intersectional diktat, which is you have to have a black woman who is next in line. They can't pick somebody who can probably win the race, like a Josh Harris or even a Gretchen Newsom. A Gretchen Whitmore and a Gavin Newsom. Those are people who have a better shot at beating Donald Trump. The problem is they cannot pick a white man or a white woman to lead the race. And they're kind of stuck with that. Look, Kamala Harris is interesting. She has a lower floor than Joe Biden, if that's possible, but she also has a potential higher ceiling. So we're not sure where exactly she's going to fall within that. But currently she's actually polling in terms of Joe Biden actually a bit better. Now she's polling better because, you know, you and I live in a world where everybody knows who she is, but in the wider world and the U.S. in general, gotta tell you, I know it's shocking, most people don't know her, so she's actually polling better because she's kind of, in that sense, a theoretical candidate. Oddly, perversely, and you know, almost contrary to that, her approval numbers are actually lower than Joe Biden, because that's people actually know she is. So when people know she is, her approval is actually lower than Joe Biden, who had one of the lowest approval ratings of any president in history. Kamala is going to be a very difficult choice. She has a lot of baggage with her, right? First of all.
Okay, real quick before they go any further, I think that's an excellent point. Globally, not a lot of people know about Kamala. Stateside, not a lot of people know about Kamala. Voters and those who do know about Kamala don't really like Kamala. That's going to be problematic. So I think that's a big issue, because her claim to fame, what she should have been known for, was the border. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but I did want to get that part out. So let's go.
She was the border czar, right? In the worst border invasion we had maybe ever. She's also inheriting the yoke of Joe Biden's failed policies. Everybody's going to be putting that onto her. There's a number of things of baggage that she carries in. Also, she's a political leftist. I think that's all her true political background is going to come to the fore, obviously, now that she's going to be target of the ire of the entire Republican machinery. But she also has a couple of advantages. Advantage number one is, she actually, according to Barack Obama, was the hottest attorney general in the country. So there's that. And also that
was such a weird statement. Hey, hang around to the end. I'll actually show you that statement from Obama.
She's breathing, which, is a step up from Joe Biden. So it's going to be an interesting choice. I think ultimately the Democratic Party is going to be worse off having her in, because as Biden was losing, the spread wasn't as large as people made it out to be. But we're going to see, look, when she was announced, or when Joe Biden stepped down, she raised, the Democratic Party raised almost $69 million in a few hours. So only time will tell.
Just on that, about Kamala and her border woes, Fox News is reporting that she's actually yet to speak to the head of Border Patrol, the current head of Border Control, despite a continued crisis at the southern border, as in this border.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And
Ami, that's a complete embarrassment. No wonder she's messed up the issue on the border. She's barely made an effort with Border Patrol, and now she wants to be the next president.
Yeah, that is one of the most, I can promise you'll be seeing that clip over and over and over again in Republican attack ads. Look, she was the border czar, as I said before, when 11.5 million illegals have crossed into the country. To put it in Australia terms, that's almost half of your country, half of your population has legally crossed the border. It's going to be a massive, massive political liability for her. But look, whenever you talk about the border and the left and Democrats, what they always say, and what she said repeatedly is, no, we're dealing with the border. How? Not by stopping illegals from coming in, which, by the way, they were able to do because we saw it in action during Trump's administration, but they keep going to root causes. That is buzzword dog whistle for leftist policies. Let's be clear, because what root causes mean is now they're able to go to the South and say, we want to push a climate change agenda, because that's really what they continue to talk about, is a root cause. They claim for some reason it's hotter there than it is up here. And I don't know, I guess she really hasn't been to the border. She hasn't been to El Paso. I think it's hotter down south than it is there. And also they get to talk about economic instability, and more to the point, about wealth redistribution. They'll have to say, look, you have to redistribute more money to the poor people. That will stop them coming over. So when they say root causes, what that really means is leftist economic and leftist climate change agenda. And that's really what she's pushing. But I'll say this, is that I've talked with you guys before about this. The border deal that the Republicans said no to, now, to be clear, that was not a great border deal. But the reason why that border deal was issued was for this moment, for the election. Because what it does is, their new political talking point is, we did try to fix the border. We came to you with an idea, with a plan. Right. You guys said no. Now, it was 2 years into the administration. The horse had already left the barn, but they did it 2 years later because, A, they're able to have their border agenda done for 2 years to, in order, in their words, brown this country. But by the way, it was end up turning against them because Hispanic people tend to vote conservative over time. But that's for another time for us to speak. But what that has done is now all they're trying to do is muddy the water enough, because the second most potent point that the Republicans have, the first, the economy and inflation, the second is the border. They're able to muddy it enough to on the debate of this issue and say, look, we came to you with a solution. You said no. And the people watching may not fully understand the complexities of when this happened and why it happened. So that might be the only fly in the ointment when it comes to Republicans and the immigration, which is a winning topic.
That was a dope conversation. And I thought that it was a good summary of what's going on. And I think he did give a good balanced reply. As this week unfolds and whatever happened to Joe Biden becomes more and more clear. Again, he's supposed to speak to the nation soon. Maybe we'll know. I don't know. But I do think that looking at key fundamental policy issues is going to be the success, the pathway to victory. Let's leave personal attacks alone and look at the real issues at hand. You are derelict in your duties and responsibilities. You weren't at the border. The head of the border is saying that, hey, we don't have support from the border czar. That's very simple to convey. And I think we can have that argument about whether or not the border policy was struck down by the GOP at a later date. We can definitely talk about that. But I think what's really, really important is at the current moment, Kamala Harris has been derelict in her duties. But I thank you so much. What do you think? Down in the comment section, let me know. Please comment back and forth. I'd love to see what you have to say. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.